Every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cole. You know who's coming to the stage more talking what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speaks, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blogs, check out the merchandise page, and of course, become the members only page over there as well. Every Monday through Thursday, we have an after show over there, guys, 10 p.m. East Coast time, right there on YouTube or on manhourradio.com. Click on the members tab, after show, bada bing, bada boom. It is right there. We got some jam-packed show for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of Deshaun Watson. Of course, we've got to talk about the Deshaun Watson case. Tiger Woods speeding. Sean Miller has been fired. And then, of course, the Brewers won the series today, 2-1 over the Chicago Cubs. Speaking of the Milwaukee Brewers, Wisconsin Sporty himself, Torey, the man, Anderson. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I got my whole new setup. I got the headphones. I got the mic. I'm almost official here.
You are almost official until you are not official until you change your Twitter name to manhour_Torey. Then you can be official. But right now he is at Wisconsin Sporty, so we'll let it slide for a couple more weeks, a couple more months until you are really official. So, Torey, how was your workday, man? Did you have a good work day? Did you get a lot accomplished?
It was a pretty easy day today. It's been pretty light. Tomorrow's actually for Thursday. That's actually, I have a heavy day tomorrow, but today was more of a kind of laid back day. It was more waiting to go talk to the surgeon today to find out what they're going to do to my shoulders.
What are they going to do to your shoulders? Are they just going to keep inject you with some numbing pain to make it feel better, or are they actually going to fix it? What is going on?
They're going to pump me up with steroids.
Going to pump you up.
So yeah, that's the current plan, and get a couple of X-rays and an MRI on my neck. Make sure I didn't break nothing in there, which would shock me if I did something.
Yeah. So fun fact. So my uncle, when I was about 16 or 17 years old, he had a neck operation. Apparently he broke his neck 5 years prior and he didn't even know it. And then just one day he randomly woke up and he couldn't move. He had to roll out of bed and holler for help. And this is back before cell phones was. So he's like, help me. And so he was laid up for 18 months because apparently his vertebrae in his neck fused together and one of them cracked. It was some weird complicated thing, but to know that you broke your neck and then not know it for 5 years after the fact, that to me is kind of crazy. So
yeah, it's
hopefully your neck isn't broken.
Nah, I at one point I compressed 3 vertebrae in my neck. Because back when I played football, we led with the helmet.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's when I did it.
Well, now we don't do that. Now we are shoulder tackling, so you keep the head out of the play. So you actually keep your when you would tackle, your coach would always say, keep your head in front of in front of the play, they can't break your neck or run you over it like if your head is in front of them, right? Now you want your head on the opposite side. You want your head behind them, so when you tackle them, you just shove them down, and your head stays out of the way. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean,
how times have changed
so much.
How times have changed. But guys, so let's go ahead and get into some sports talk here. Michelle says, welcome. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Well, what is going, Michelle? I'm glad you are on the show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. So fun fact is Brandon Combs is at the Cubs game, stuck in traffic right now with his stepdaughter, and that is Michelle's little girl. So she got to experience her first Cubs game today. Hopefully she had a great time because, truth be told, Torey, they did not win. The Brewers won. And I know you are a Brewers fan, so how do you feel about that Cubs-Brewers game?
First off, they went to a Brewers game. They didn't go to a Cubs game. They went to a Brewers game. I feel pretty good about it. Brett and I kind of obviously jaw at each other back and forth pretty much constantly about it.
Yeah.
It was early season baseball. Woodruff looked phenomenal. Freddie Peralta was just dealing yesterday as well. So far, the Brewers pitching staff overall has done a really good job, according to Brandon, who said they were terrible. But I digress. So they
poke the
it's
bear.
early season. It's great for the standings, but it's still early season baseball. I think it's going to be like that all season. It's going to be just neck and neck like that. I look forward to it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, with them winning the last two, now the whole overall series all time is 193 to 186 Cubs right now. So the series is literally almost a 50-50 split all the time. So it's always fun to watch them battle.
Yeah, like I told you guys, like in our chat, like in our little chat group, like last night, like I think the Cubs Brewers is the most underrated rivalry in all of baseball. To be honest, like I don't think it even cracks the top 10 on many people's list here. But I do see that you have a Brewers hat on, and correct me if I'm wrong. You were in the chat on Monday night on the Man Hour, and you said the Cubs were going to win the series 2-1. Did you not?
I did.
And then
not a lot of faith in the bats.
You picked the Cubs to win. Wyatt picked the Cubs to win. Combs picked the Cubs to win, but I picked the Brewers to win 2-1, and the Brewers won that series 2-1. I also said that the winner of this first series was going to win the division. I'm still standing by that. Like, I think the Brewers have a great team. They seem to be gelling really, really well. Like Alonzo Cain is, he had 2 home runs this afternoon, doing great things with the bat, and I still think the pitching depth on the Brewers is probably the deepest in the division. So you are a Brewers fan. The Cubs fan isn't here to defend himself, so I want you to talk as highly as you can about your Brewers and tell me why you think they're going to win the division.
It's not often I get to take free shots, but I'm going to take full advantage of this one.
Do it.
So their pitching staff, you saw it last year if you watched the Brewers at all. I believe they were in the top 10, both in starters and in their bullpen. They've done nothing but add on to that. The weakest starting pitcher they got right now is Brett Anderson. You saw that in game 1 of the Brewers-Cubs series. He got hit for 4 runs, and those were in the first 2 innings. After that, he settled down. He was completely fine. That's the only kind of spot in that rotation I'm semi-worried about. But if I got 4 quality starters and one, I'm like, guess what? We're sitting pretty good. We hands down have probably the best back end in the majors between, Devin Williams and Josh Hader. Personally, I think Josh Hader will be traded by the All-Star break just because they're not going to want to pay him in arbitration. The big surprise, though, for me, and where I said, well, it's all going to come down to third base. Like, that was the big unknown. They picked up Travis Shaw again. They signed him to a minor league deal, not knowing what they were going to get because his last 2 years in Milwaukee, he hit like 197, but prior to that, though, he was hitting like 260, 270 with 35 bombs a year, and all of a sudden he just fell off. I think he's more back to that 2017 form again. I don't think he's going to hit for quite the average. He's probably going to be about 240 to 250 maybe, but he's probably going to hit 30 bombs again this year, especially when we play half your games at Miller Park, which is a huge hitter's park. You can go almost any field and put one out. Eric Sogard hit like 2 of his 3 career home runs there or whatever it is. So yeah, the Brewers are going to probably be in the thick of it all the way down to the end. The only problem is if they got injuries, if they're looking to trade at the deadline, there's not much in the cupboards to trade outside of Hader. And everybody knows that they want a king's ransom for Hader. So it's all going to depend on injuries and everything else. So my Brewers, though, should be able to take down the Cubs. They showed that. It's going to be a duel all year. Right now, you got the Reds. The Reds of all teams are in first place in the division right now. And then you got the Cardinals sitting at 4-2, which they're the great unknown. That is the wild card in the division. However, I do see the Brewers having enough depth. And like you said, the pitching, they have the pitching depth to kind of go over the rest of the division.
Right. And so we do have a segment coming up here in just a half hour of who is hot and who is not in Major League Baseball. And spoiler alert, the Cincinnati Reds is a hot team right now, and the Brewers play them next. They play a 3-game series at Cincinnati, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, and then they have the Monday off, and then they're at home with the 2-game series versus my Kansas City Royals. Do you see them going 5-0 in the next week?
It's baseball, and that's tough to do for anybody. 5-0, probably not. That's a rough one to do. Just because it's early there again. Right now, it's early season, and the Brewers bats are doing just enough to win currently, and they're doing it with mostly power. I think as it goes on, hopefully that those bats start to even out. We start to get more runs than what we are. It's like it's been all or nothing. I don't think the Brewers have scored more than 4 runs in a game yet.
Not that I'm aware of. Let me pull up their scores here. If I could pull up the scores. Apparently they don't want to pull the scores, but here we go. So yeah. Well, this is all preseason. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So 6-5, 2-0, 8-2. So I mean the first series versus the Twins, they're averaging about 5 runs a game. They scored 5, 4, and 4 against the Cubs. So I mean, they're definitely putting the ball in play and scoring some runs. Kane is doing his thing. I mean, he hit a 3-run home run to end the game on Wednesday night, and then he had two home runs in like in that game. So if the Brewers can just keep putting the ball in play, I mean, I feel like Major League Baseball is almost a race to 3 points. If you can score 3 runs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that game, right?
It depends on your pitching, and in this era of the home run ball, I would say 4 to 5 runs normally would be what you need to throw up there. Sometimes even more. But there again, if you have a great pitching staff, if you have like a Dodgers type pitching staff or an Atlanta Braves type pitching staff, and I'm even going to throw the Brewer pitching staff in there. Yeah,
do it.
3 runs may do it just because your starters are that good and your bullpen is that good. They can back it up and they can hold it down for you. But there's not a lot of teams that can do that. So, for example, like say, St. Louis, are they going to be able to do that? Probably not. Their pitching staff's not that great. Right.
St. Louis is horrible. But let's just be flat and honest. But guys, we are going to get ready to take our first break. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk a little to Deshaun Watson. Like Tori posted today on the Facebook page, where there's smoke, there is fire. Beats by Dre and Nike have both suspended their contracts with Watson, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. The Tiger Woods black box from his car has been released after the police said they weren't going to release that, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, Sean Miller, the Arizona Wildcats basketball coach, has been fired after 12 seasons out there. But before we get into break here, let's go ahead and welcome one of the biggest fans of the show, Nana. She says, hey, Michelle, and hello, Man Hour Nation. We have a community building over there on the old youtube.com/Man Hour page. And I see Tori is asking for some French toast. And Nana also says, bless you, Buck. I see you're still fighting the allergies still. Yeah, that little rainstorm that came through town like a half hour ago stirred up all the dust. It didn't knock it down. It just made it that much worse. And I took a Benadryl, so if I start fat fingering stuff, you guys, and start to drool, it is not the rat poison that Cindy's been feeding me. It's just the Benadryl, so it is. I'm still going to be just fine. But guys, we do have more coming up on the Man Hour. Stay tuned. Right after this, we'll be right back.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes with Tori Anderson tonight at Wisconsin Sporty. He is from Wisconsin. He is a Badger fan. He's a Packers fan, and obviously he is a Brewers fan as well. Riding high after the Cubs series beat 2-1. So he's definitely going to rub it in Brandon's face all for the next until they play in like a month. Like they don't play the Cubs for like a while. So Combs gets to really eat this loss here for the next month or so. But if you guys are new here, head over to manhourradio.com, click on the members only tab. As little as $3 a month, you can become a member. You get the after hours show, you get discounts to clothing, you get all access to us, and then all access to the blog as well. So Tori, you know what $3 can buy you? It can buy you a McChicken, it can buy you a half of a Subway sandwich, it can buy you a Monster Energy drink, it can buy you a pack of gum, a gallon of gas. So if you guys can just spare one of that, you can get all the access to us on the after show. So, I mean, after shows are pretty lit. Let's just be honest.
I mean, I love you guys so much. I spend $5 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's right in my budget now. $5, $2.
Yeah, $5, $2.
Howdy, Drew. How are you today?
Yeah, Drew, what is going on? We see you over there in the like on the Facebook group. So, guys, we do stream to this on Facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk, as well as YouTube.com/Man Hour. And of course, we are on Big X Sports Radio Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. But Thursday edition will be on there noon to 2 p.m. East Coast time, as so Kentucky is still in basketball season as they're playing the Sweet 16 this weekend. So there's 16 teams left in the state of Kentucky playing basketball. So that's pretty exciting for those Kentucky kids that they actually get to finish a season, because football season.
Is there anything besides basketball?
Yeah. So fun fact here. You live up in the Chicago area, right? There is a player up there by the name of Rondell Moore that goes to Purdue, if I'm not mistaken. He is projected to go number 12th in the draft, maybe. He actually is from Southern Indiana, but he went to high school in Kentucky, so he actually is a Kentucky football player. So, I mean, that's a fun fact for you. Lamar Jackson did go to Louisville.
I will say, though, the Kentucky Wildcats football program is a program to watch out for. So they actually stole the Wisconsin Badgers running back coach. And the guy is a great recruiter. So that's actually a huge get for Kentucky.
Yeah. Anytime you have a Stoops brother on your staff, you are going to do good things. Why? Because the Stoops brothers all originated from Manhattan, Kansas, and they trained underneath a coach by the name of Bill Snyder, the greatest coach of all time, college coach-wise. And basically blossomed those kids into what they are today. Bob Stoops, Stoops from Kentucky. There's a Stoops in Arizona too. So all the Stoops brothers once coached underneath Bill Snyder. So
then what the heck happened with Bielema?
What's that?
Then what happened with Bielema?
I don't know who you're talking about. Exactly.
Brett Bielema was the D coordinator at K-State under Snyder.
No, he wasn't. That was Mark Mangino.
I thought Bielema was the D coordinator.
No. Mark Mangino was the offensive coordinator, and then the coach for the head coach for Baylor was a defensive coordinator, Steve Bennett. So, not Baylor. He's a head coach at TCU now. So, fun fact: everybody that was underneath the Bill Snyder coaching staff was at one point was a head coach. So, that is
the one thing. He has a huge coaching tree.
Yeah. So, but let's all right, Drew. We have to address this. Tom Osborne is the GOAT here, bro. So first things first. Tom Osborne, yes, he established dominance through the 90s with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I get that. But Bill Snyder turned around a team that never won a football game for like 15 years. They were like 0-87 or something just like that before they got their first win as a football program. Bill Snyder literally built this from like a fifth grade team to a national powerhouse. Let's just be flat out honest. That is a GOAT.
That is. I mean, when you had I could have coached Tommy Frazier back in the day, and we won a national title.
Oh, run a triple option left and triple option right. That's real tough. Real tough.
Hey, that's all we ran in high school.
Right. Yeah. So, guys, let's go ahead and get into some NFL talk. Deshaun Watson now has 22 women that have allegedly been assaulted by him in some way, matter, either having his privates rub up against their against their leg or forcing oral and stuff like that. But and then Tori, we saw that interview with the girl yesterday that came out and spoke on the issue, saying that she wasn't after money and her reputation is like ruined and her career is ruined because of like what he did. To me, first things first, that interview looked really, really faked, really, really forced. And if you weren't asking for money, why did you ask for a settlement before you filed a claim? But we're not going to talk about that here right now. We'll talk about that later here in the show. What we're going to talk about first things first is all these endorsement deals that are starting to drop Deshaun Watson from their brand. Two of which are Dre by Beats, the headphones that all the NFL players wear, and then the Nike. Everybody, like, I have a Nike shirt on right now. So Nike and Beats by Dre both dropped Deshaun Watson from their endorsement deals. Tori, you made a Facebook post about this earlier today. Where there's smoke, there is fire. Are we starting to see the fire start to surface from the Deshaun Watson thing? Like, what are they not telling us that we are starting to see here?
Right, and that's the thing. There's something that's going on right now that we don't know. And number one sign that something actually happened is your sponsors like, time to start separating ourselves. That's usually the number one cue, and it can only go downhill from there. Just because that's their primary source of income outside of obviously being an NFL player. Right. You start doing that, you start getting dropped by them. You're not looking very good in the public eye at that point. They're separating themselves for a reason. We don't know anything else beyond that. Like you and I, as the average Joe, are going to do nothing but speculate. However, they have inside knowledge. They probably had private investigators investigating like what's going on, what's happening. There's something on there again. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It has to be and there's a whole lot of smoke coming out of his camp right now. We're just starting to see the flames start to pop out here and there.
Yeah, we are starting to see somebody blow and fan the flames or the smoke to really get that flame exposed. Just because, for one thing that really threw a red flag at me was his lawyer came out and said that Deshaun Watson is deleting Instagram messages and text messages from his phone, and that was kind of that was kind of raising concern for him a tad bit. First thing that comes to mind on that is I am paying a lawyer to defend me. Why are you out in the public speaking bad on my name? About what I'm doing behind closed doors. If I want to delete Instagram messages to cover my own ass, you are supposed to defend me on that. I'm paying you a lot of money to defend me and to take care of my finances and maybe because usually a lawyer is more than just a court lawyer for a lot of these NFL players. They are their agents. They're their contract negotiators. They're their, hey, I need you to give $100,000 to my mom and grandma and sister and cousin, right? So that lawyer is really shooting himself in the foot, right, Tori?
I absolutely. What is the old saying? Never bite the hand that feeds you.
Oh yeah,
and that's essentially what he's done. How dumb can you be? The thing is a lot of this stuff can still be summoned. If it's a text message on his phone, guess what? Right. They can still summon it and get the records of it. As they say, nothing's ever actually gone forever. Right. Same thing. They could subpoena Instagram and say, hey, we want to see the messages from XYZ. No, delete all you want. It's actually doing no good. And there again, like you said, he's out there harming his client, saying, well, he's deleting all these messages, da-da-da-da-da. Well, the only thing that, if that's true, that just tells me you've got witness tampering going on or witness intimidation going on, that right. You feel that you need to delete these things instead of look, the truth will come out.
So with that being said, when the whole Aaron Hernandez thing went down, me and my uncles actually had a great conversation about this, just because at the time I was still kind of playing ball and still had aspirations of getting to that next to make it to a pro team, either whether it be on a training camp or a practice squad. And my uncle said, hey, I'm going to paraphrase what he said because it probably shouldn't be said. in public, but he said if you are making this kind of money, you pay people to do stuff for you. So Deshaun Watson should have paid somebody to text these women to set something up, so nothing is never tracked directly back to him. Aaron Hernandez should have paid somebody to take the fall for him if he was going to do what he was going to do, right? I mean, yes, I know how that sounds, like I'm thinking big scheme and just paying somebody to take the fall. Yeah, like if you are going to live that lifestyle, you make enough money, you can change somebody's life by simply taking the fall for you, right? So if all this stuff really happened, and Deshaun Watson is deleting all these Instagram messages and text messages and all that stuff, you are absolutely right, Tori. Nothing is never gone from the internet or from like anything. You can destroy your phone. I actually pulled information off of somebody's cell phone from 6 years ago that they destroyed their phone just last week because they knew we were digging into that phone. I pulled information from 6 years ago from a cell phone that he had for like 3 years, right? So basically, like once that information is out there, like on the cloud, it is never gone. So you are absolutely 100% correct on that. Now the next thing that comes to mind here is the biggest red flag of all is that Nike suspended their contract with Deshaun Watson. Why is that a big red flag for me? Because look what Nike has done in the last 3 or 4 years. They have stood behind the black athlete more than any other athlete, right? They made a Colin Kaepernick campaign, like a shoe and a clothing brand. They've stood behind many people that they probably shouldn't be standing behind. So for them to step away from Deshaun Watson being a black athlete, a big figure in the NFL, that raises a huge concern for me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and that's where we start to see the flames. Yeah. When Nike has said, yeah, we're going to suspend it. That's the first step to, well, we're going to make this as peaceful as possible because we're going to end up separating and terminating this contract. That's clear as day to me. But there again, like I said, the flames, that's the first trickle right there because they are very supportive. They're all about equality. They're all about being inclusive, everything like that. For them to step away from one of their brand athletes is a huge, huge deal. And I don't think it can be understated by any means. The Beats by Dre thing. Yeah. Okay. I can see that, yeah, they're a huge brand, but are they Nike? No, they are not.
I would almost say they're almost bigger than Nike almost, because look at like the Beats by Dre sponsors all of the NFL. Every NFL athlete is wearing those on the sidelines. The coaches have like the headsets. They're in every studio. You got some headphones on that like look like Beats. I don't know if they're Beats or not. I got some Beats on right here. I mean, Beats are everywhere.
Yeah, no, these are actually Sony.
Okay, just as good though, right?
Right, yeah. Probably $150 cheaper.
Yeah, so some of the comments that are rolling in here over on the Facebook page. Drew says, "I am waiting for the Houston PD investigation." Yeah, so like I have been behind Watson this whole time, saying, this seems very, very weird. This seems weird, like how everything is starting to come out, and there hasn't even been like any evidence yet of any of this happening. So I'm kind of curious to see what the Houston PD pulls up. Like, are you interested in this at all, Tori?
I am, because there's been 22 claims against him, and they've just now filed one criminal charge.
Right.
So there again, we've talked from the get-go, like it was, me, oh yeah, and me too, and me too, and me too, and me too, and it was all civil charges. I'm like, if something really was going on and something really bad happened, there would be criminal charges being filed left and right on this instead of just civil. So, but I liken that to like the OJ trial. So OJ was found innocent in that trial, but in the civil trial, he was found guilty. So I'm thinking maybe they're like, we don't have enough to get him on a criminal, but we can probably get something out of him civil.
Yeah, so watching the Netflix documentary "Making of a Murderer," basically, you want to charge him with stuff that you know that can stick. Just because, like, if you go for like a higher crime with like several ones that are under that, and that higher crime doesn't stick, none of those crimes stick, right? So if you shoot for like the bar low and then one of those stick, every criminal case under that will stick as well. So that might be why they're aiming so low in just a civil suit and not a criminal suit. But I could be wrong. Like, I'm not a attorney. I just play one every Friday night when we're watching CSI. But that's here or there. Drew also says, who in the heck has 22 massage therapists? Somebody that is allegedly that is abusing them, right? So once you abuse them and you use them, you throw them out to the woodshed and you get the next one, right? I mean, that's my thought process on that. If there's really this many women,
right? That just maybe one for every day of the week.
Oh, that's a lot of days in a week, huh? So let's go ahead and move on, Tori. The Tiger Woods black box has been released. If you guys were listening to the Man Hour last week, I believe it was, the PD basically said that they will not be releasing the information due to respect to Tiger Woods and the family and like all this stuff. But bada bing, bada boom, a week later, it is out. So the black box basically indicated that Tiger Woods was driving stupid fast. He was doing 87 mile an hour downhill on a speed limit road that was posted at 45 miles an hour. This is one of the most deadliest roads in California as well. Off the side of these roads, there are nets to catch cars from driving off the road because cars go so fast and whatnot. So he had top speeds of 87 miles an hour going downhill on a 45 mile an hour speed limit zone, and then he hit a tree head on going 75 miles an hour. So me and Combs went back and forth on this. Combs said, we shouldn't worry about the accident, just let it ride off into the sunset. And like a guy was like, no, he's a high profile athlete. We have the right and we need to see the black box just because he has had a history of drug abuse and alcoholism and like all this stuff. So when you first see this black box information on the surface, Tori, what do you think?
Was I driving that car?
No.
Because I'm a speed demon, as I told you guys in the chat. Like, I'll be the first one to admit I got pulled over doing 93. So, however, it was not in what was it, 45 there?
Yeah, it was a 45 mile an hour posted speed limit sign going downhill.
Yeah, no, I only do 5 over then. I have some morals, but with it, I'm torn. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, he's a high-profile athlete, but if your neighbor from 3 blocks down got into the same wreck, would you care? Would you want to know the same information? Probably not. You'd be like, idiot! At least he didn't die.
Oh, wait, like I don't know, being like as they say, curiosity kills a cat, and like I would be kind of curious of like, hey, how did you break both of your legs? Like, what were you doing to being so stupid to break both your legs in a car accident? So. Would they release the neighbor's black box information? No, but you would probably ask them if you knew your neighbor well, like enough, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going
to say Tiger's going to end up Vanessa Bryant, whoever released that too.
Yeah.
If there was a confidentiality thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird, especially since the police chief said that they weren't going to release anything, and then a week later they released this stuff. So, like, that's kind of concerning to me, but it also raises some deeper concerns of what are they hiding? Because like every time something like this leaks, it is because they're hiding something else. Was Tiger Woods high? Was he drunk? Was he under the influence of something to cause him to drive like this? So if people start to digging, like TMZ for example, they are huge, of exposing this stuff. Why not release the black box and say, oh, he was doing 87 to cover up what really happened?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like, I am not that person like is like, oh my god, I'm not into like, I like my athletes, but I'm not into like, I could care less what they do in their personal life. He could be higher than a kite. And I went to Karen. But yeah, he did 87. He hit the tree at 75. Like he could have made a mistake. B, we don't know, did the accelerator stick? Was there something wrong with the car? Like there's so many unknowns with it that like I hate, you know what they say about assuming,
Right.
that old saying. And at this point, that's what we're kind of still doing with it because we don't have all the facts. But now they're saying, well, we're not going to release this. Oh, by the way, he was doing 87. Yeah. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Let the man heal and move on. He'll probably never play golf again, but
Yeah, probably not, because I think he shattered both his legs and ankles, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I don't remember off the top of my head. But over here in the comment section, Drew says the sheriff said that he was not intoxicated in any way, and that's good enough for me. Okay, Drew, I agree with you, but the fact is that the sheriff already contradicted himself once, saying that they weren't going to release the black box information, then they release it. So when you say that he wasn't intoxicated in any way, are they going to come back and say, oh, by the way, he had some pain pills in his system, or he was smoking some weed, or, because, just like, as they say, once a liar, always a liar. You said you weren't going to release the black box information, but now you did. So what else are you hiding? That is my thing.
that's no tiger. That's a cheetah.
And then Drew also says it is policy/procedure for these types of things. The SO has to get the permission to release the information. I'm not for sure what the SO is. Is that the?
I'm guessing sheriff's office.
Okay, so maybe Tiger Woods said release the information so he could cover up what really happened. Like I don't really know. I mean, I would say I don't care, but I do care. Like I care that a person that I look up to, that changed the face of golf, is doing something stupid on the sidelines. Like why are you doing this? Like, are you trying to commit suicide? Or why are you driving 87 miles an hour down a dangerous road? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
But yeah, you do that. Like, why do people drive drunk? Why do people speed? Like it's a variable of human nature that we can throw in almost any situation.
Yeah, you are 100% correct. But let's go ahead and move on from that situation. Some of the breaking news that happened here within the last Wednesday afternoon here, I should say. Sean Miller has been fired from the Arizona Wildcats basketball team. Sean Miller did spend 12 seasons at Arizona. He has been there since 2009, and he led the Wildcats to 7 NCAA tournaments, 3 Elite Eights, and like Arizona has won at least a share of the Pac-12 regular season championship 5 times underneath Sean Miller. The biggest red flag about him was the 2017 investigation that he was paying players, and he was caught on tape saying he was going to give X kid $10,000 a month. I forget the kid's name, but he is now in the NBA. So, Tori, you are a basketball guy. Are you surprised about this Sean Miller firing after 12 seasons?
I'm surprised it took this long. They're still facing 5 level 1 infractions that are still under investigation with Sean Miller. You would have thought that as soon as these all started to come up and these flags started to get raised, that they would have canned him a long time ago. Most programs would, unless they were like, oh, we don't think they did it. We did an internal investigation, which a lot of colleges will do an internal investigation, self-report, but not on 5 level 1 infractions. It's like I said, I'm surprised he lasted this long. I was shocked that they didn't can him after 2017 when everybody started going down. They were calling for Pitino's head. He lost his job at Louisville. They were calling for him to go to prison. They were calling for Sean Miller to go to prison. But it was a lot of these boosters that went to prison instead.
Right. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, correct me like if I'm wrong over here in the chat, youtube.com/manhour, but there was a anonymous tip basically said that if we were to turn in every team that was paying players back through 2014 through 2018, there would have not been any basketball teams in the 2019, I believe, or maybe it was 2018 NCAA basketball tournament. So to kind of just point the finger directly at Sean and Rick Pitino is kind of just like their scapegoat here. But reading an article here, Tori, one of the biggest eye-raising things to me was that the president and the athletic director at Arizona wanted to give Sean Miller an extension and keep him past the 2027 season, but the boosters are like, nah, you are out of here. And then he got fired after they said that. So that tells you that money speaks. When the boosters say, hey, we're going to pull our funding, the colleges jump, right?
Oh, absolutely. They'll be lucky if they don't get SMU'd. I mean, that's pretty harsh. You've not seen the death penalty since on a program, but I wouldn't be surprised if they come down hard on them. They are going to take a nice safe hire with their next coach. That's a straight by the book guy.
So when you say a nice straight hire, what name comes to mind? Anybody?
Off the top of my head, nobody.
Mike Woodson from Indiana. Get him out of here.
Right? No, but if you would have asked me a year ago, I'd have been like Marshall from Wichita State. Well, it comes out I was pounding the table for the Badgers to fire Greg Gard and hire him because he is a great coach. However, apparently he beats his players, but something like that.
Do better.
I would say a coach along Marshall's lines, though, without the don't abuse your players, because he's a no nonsense coach. He was a great coach, and he just he overstepped the line.
You know who would fit great in Arizona? He already is a Wildcat coach, but he is in Kansas, the Kansas State Wildcats coach. Bruce Weber. Get him out of Manhattan. Send him to Arizona.
Who you gonna replace him with? Bruce Pearl?
Anybody.
It seems like Bruce Weber and Bruce Pearl follow each other everywhere they go.
Anybody but Bruce Weber.
Bruce Weber was actually a good coach when he was at Illinois.
No, come on. You know that he inherited that team that he took to the national championship. What did he do when his first four years of recruiting? They're 5-20, right? They were horrible.
Still won the title.
And then he got fired the next year and ended up in K-State. So,
didn't he go to Tennessee, or was that Bruce Pearl went to Tennessee?
Bruce Pearl was a Tennessee coach forever. Then he's in Arkansas or Alabama right now, isn't he? Arkansas.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Some SEC school. But Tori, we are going to take our next break. On the other side of the break, Tori, it is your time to shine, man. We are giving you the segment tonight, 15 minutes worth of baseball talk. You are going to tell us who's hot and who is not in Major League Baseball. Coming up on Man Hour, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Man Hour Nation here. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson at manhour_buck is where you can find me on Twitter. You can also find Tori at Wisconsin Sporty on the old Twitter machines. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR and they will match up to $50 on your first deposit. That is thrivefantasy.com, promo code MANHOUR. You can also download that on Android and iOS devices. Fun fact, Tori, is I do play Thrive Fantasy every day. They have a $2 game and a $5 game. You simply pick over-under bets of like how each player is going to do in the major leagues, like each day. So you pick 5 to 10 players and then 2 ice picks just in case that player gets hurt or gets COVID and can't play, and those ice picks slide in there. Tori, over the last week, I've won over $1,200. So I'm doing big things over there on Thrive Fantasy, guys, and you should join over there. ThriveFantasy.com, promo code MANHOUR. Have you joined yet?
Not yet.
You should. It's easy money.
As much as I like to gamble, I'm a terrible gambler.
Well, see, Tori, that is what's so great about Thrive Fantasy is like you don't need to really dive deep into these sports. You know, like yes, you can. It will give you a little bit of like an advantage. But let me pull it up here. This is how easy it actually is. So let me pull up my Thrive Fantasy app over here on my iOS device, and they do have the Masters that starts here Thursday afternoon, so you can get on the Masters too. But this is a $2 Major League Baseball Thursday edition here. So the first one, over under Nelson Cruz 0.5 hits in the day. Over under, like, is Nelson Cruz going to get a hit tomorrow versus the Seattle Mariners? You guess or no?
Yeah, because I could hit the Mariners.
So over it is.
Bada
bing, bada boom. It is that easy. That easy, Tori. That easy, man.
Why
you know what is
vice in life, Buck?
What's that?
Why you got to give me another vice in life?
Yeah, I mean, if you want great advice, just come to me. Don't come to Combs. Don't go to Wyatt, and don't ask yourself that because you're going to give yourself wrong advice because you did pick the Cubs to beat the Brewers in this series, and I picked the Brewers to win, and we saw what happened, right? Yeah,
I can't argue. I can't argue logic.
So with that being said, Major League Baseball season is 7 days old now. April 1st was opening day. It is now April 8th, Thursday edition here on Big X Sports Radio. So, Tori, I want you to give me 3 teams that are hot right now in Major League Baseball, and you are going to ride them till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and the first one, I want to punch myself in the throat when I say this. I know Hoffy would want to punch me. I know Brandon would want to punch me. But the Houston Astros.
Ooh.
They're off to a 5-1 start. It's not like they've played nobody. Their first 6 games have been against the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Angels. Pretty much the 2 primary contenders that they got in the division that a lot of people like Brandon, I believe, picked them, the Angels to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Popular pick is for Oakland to go to the playoffs. Houston just keeps winning. As much as it pains me, as much as I don't want to say it, but they do. They've got a great mix on that team of veteran and young talent. They're like the Yankees of the 90s right now. They lose somebody, they just replace them with somebody else from the farm system. Or they go out and they sign somebody that wasn't expected to perform, and they perform far and beyond above expectations. Go ahead.
Yes. So with that being said, the Astros have already played the A's 4 times this year, scoring 9 runs each of the first 3 of the four games. The one game they didn't score 9, they scored 8, and then again they scored 6 and 4 versus the Angels respectively. Now moving forward here, Tori, they have another 3-game series with the Oakland A's, this time at home, and then they have a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers at home as well. So these next 6 games, you said they're hot. Are they going to continue the 5-1 streak, and they're going to go 10-2 like this next week?
I wouldn't put it past them. I would actually say, yeah. I would say that they could absolutely do it. Their bats are scorching already. Their bats are in midseason form, where a lot of teams are still trying to find that groove. A lot of teams still playing small ball. It's still cold. You got your like Chicago, you got Detroit. Right. Cleveland's stuff like that, where those stadiums, not a lot of balls are going to be going out. You're going to have to play get them on, get them over, get them in ball, and not a lot of runs are going to be scored. Their bats are killing it already. Their pitching staff, everybody was like, "Oh, Greinke's going to fall off a cliff." Greinke's looked great so far.
Yeah, he has. Very, very good. So, who is your second team that is hot first week of baseball?
So the Philadelphia Phillies, and you're going to see a common theme if you look at the Philadelphia Phillies record. They've played the Braves and they played the Mets. Again, two teams considered. One, I have the Braves going to the NLCS. I have them seriously considered as even a potential World Series. I think they're maybe a year away yet, but the two other teams that are considered not terrible, they are going to be playoff teams probably. Chances are we'll see how that division shakes out. But again, the Philadelphia lost Arrieta. Their pitching staff, you got Wheeler. Their lineup outside of Bryce Harper doesn't really super scare me. You got Bryce Harper and you got Didi outside of that, and Real Malto. But it's not like an up and down lineup like, oh my God, but they're putting up runs as well. They are putting up a ton of runs. So, if their pitching staff holds up, yeah, they're another team that's going to be right there all the way to the end. And I think a lot of people may have counted them out a little bit in this race. But I think that if they keep playing like this, yeah, they're going to be there.
Yeah, and like with that being said, they are in a repeat mode here. They played the Braves to open up the season, and then the Mets, just like we said. But here Friday, they play the Braves in a 3-game set at Atlanta, and then travel to New York to play a 4-game set versus the Mets. Do you see them continue to roll still, or do they kind of start to crash back down to reality?
I don't see them continuing their role. I see them starting to crash back down. Atlanta's too good of a team to be, what are they, 2-4 right now? They're a lot better than a 2-4 team. I don't see Philadelphia continuing to roll on them. I believe the next series is in Atlanta, I believe.
Yep.
So
Friday. Yep.
Again, warmer weather. The bats could be the ball's going to jump a little bit further, stuff like that. I don't foresee them continuing on that role. I see them coming back down to earth, and probably after next week, they could be 500 at the end of next week. Yeah,
and on yesterday's show here, Combs has Atlanta circled as a team that is falling very, very fast, and that they could easily have started the season 0-10, 0-11. Luckily, they did pull out one win there, but this is a Braves team that is hungry to get back on track. They are hungry to get in that win column. They are hungry to get to win a series. So the Braves are I I know this is only the second week of the Major League Baseball season, but they're almost kind of in like a panic mode, almost. So the Braves are going to be very, very hungry. So hopefully they can kind of turn things.
I think you see that over the weekend when they play. I really do. You're gonna see a different Atlanta squad starting to come around, and what's going to be kind of no nonsense.
Right. Hopefully, because I do like the Braves. I like their top 4 hitters. I think their pitching staff is pretty good as well. Fried is just amazing. Even so, fun fact: Fried has not lost a game since last September until today. So how crazy is that?
Right.
So who is your third team that is hot?
So this one is the shocker of all of them. It's the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
they're 5-1. Granted, and there again, they will probably come back down to earth this week. Their first 3 games were against the Pirates, but the next 3 games were against the Cardinals. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals.
Yeah,
so if you look at some of the national pundits, they have the Cardinals all winning the division in the NL Central and anointing them the crown. No, Cincinnati took 2 out of 3 from them, which Luis Castillo made them look silly today. So, yeah, after his negative 21 fantasy baseball performance for me on opening day, yeah, he turned around and dropped 26 on me for me today. So, but yeah, they're a surprise team, and there again, you can't discount divisional games, and that's the thing. All 3 of those, the thing in common with those, all of those are divisional games. In the end of the day, at the end of the season, those, like Brandon said the other day, they basically count double at the end of the day, and right. you can't discredit that. And anytime you can, chances are if you win more games in your division, you're probably going to at least be 500 or better.
Yeah, and so fun fact here, guys, you can listen to the Cincinnati Reds play-by-play here on the Big X Sports Radio Network every time that they are on. So 9 times out of 10, the man hour will be bumped up to play the Reds games. So I do know we do have a lot of Reds fans in the area. Many people rooting for the Reds, and because the Reds minor league system, the Louisville Bats, are right here in our backyard, so we could see that Reds farm system grow up, and to see the Reds start out on a 5-1, to me it is absolutely shocking. Yes, because they did start off the series versus the Cardinals, and just like what you said, Tori, many experts, I want to put air quotes, very very hard air quotes, around that, had the St. Louis Cardinals winning the division with probably the worst pitching staff in all of their division, and then the pitch and then they did sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates this Wednesday afternoon as well with a 5-1, or sorry, with a 11-4 win. And the Pirates, they are a bad team, but they're not horrible. But looking forward, they do travel to Arizona for a 3-game set versus the Diamondbacks, and then they stay on the West Coast to play the Giants early next week. Those two teams don't look very good either, to be honest. They're kind of struggling just like a tad bit. So do you think the Reds come out in a winning fashion after these two series?
Any team that has to go out west is usually going to have a tough time. Those West Coast swings are rough, and I don't care if those teams are the worst teams in baseball. Going from there and then having to play, say, the next day is going to be rough. It takes you a good 2-3 days, because that, even though it's only a 2-hour time difference, well, for them it's a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah.
It's rougher on your body than you think. Just from somebody that's experienced going from time zone to time zone like that, it catches up with you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you might sleep a little bit later than normally will. You might be up way earlier than you normally would. It throws your whole routine off. So I could see them actually probably, even though both those teams are not very good, I could see them at maybe going 500 or less than 500 on that swing, because the Giants, I think, are going to actually start surprising people. They're not going to be great. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be better than I think some people expected this year.
So you are expecting them to upset some big teams like the Dodgers and Angels over there on the West Coast?
Absolutely, I do. They're going to be that team that's pesky. They're going to be that team that's not great. It's like I said, not great at all, but they're going to be pesky. They're going to be that tough out team that's just going to be like, we're here to ruin your day.
Right. So jumping over here, on the chat line, before you give us three teams that are not hot, I do see we have some Reds fans here. Stacy says, "Woot woot for the Cincinnati Reds," being 5-1 going into their first off day. And then Drew also says, "It pains me to see the Reds win." So we are on the polar opposites here on the Reds fans. We have some Red lovers and some Red haters. So maybe they can find some happy medium. But like everybody root for the Royals because we're going to the World Series this year. I said it. I said it. So, all right.
Where's the mute button?
You gave me 3 teams that are hot right now. Now, give me 3 teams that are not hot.
1, the Oakland Athletics.
Oh,
for a team that was considered to be probably one of the upper tier teams, they're 1-6 right now on the year. That is probably the most shocking thing of all. Granted, they're a small market team, but they still have all the pieces in place to be a really solid team and be a playoff contender this year. For them to start off 1-6 is absolutely nuts to me. Granted, 3 or 4, is it 4 now those losses are against the Astros?
Well, yeah, so they lost their 4-game opening series to the Houston Astros pretty handily, 8-1, 9-5, 9-1, 9-9, 9-2, and then they lost the next 2 to the Dodgers and finally winning today or Wednesday in extra innings 4-3. So they have had a pretty tough schedule, because I saw on somebody's power rankings, I'm not saying whose, it is not Hoffy's, but I saw them having Houston Astros in the top 5. So Houston Astros and Dodgers were both in the top 5. So can we cut the A's a little bit of slack by playing a pretty tough schedule?
I think a little bit, just because they probably played the two of the best teams in all of baseball. I would cut them a little bit of slack. Will they bounce back? Probably. You're going to hit those stretches where you're playing teams that aren't that great. So I would honestly cut them a little bit of slack on it.
But on the flip side of that coin, they do have they do play Thursday here and Friday, Saturday. So they play a 3-game series versus the Houston Astros at Houston, and then they travel to Arizona for a 2-game set versus the Diamondbacks. So do you see any wins there?
Maybe when they play the Diamondbacks. The way the Astros are playing right now is just ridiculous. It's like, as much as it pains me, and I hate to say it, they probably maybe win 1 game in Houston, and they could probably take both games from Arizona. I would have to look at who's pitching and what the matchup is,
right.
But other than that, no, the Astros will probably handle them pretty easily, and then they might get their little bit of redemption and bounce back against Arizona.
Right, and then bring up this chat here from Nana. She says, does Detroit Tigers still have a team? Fun fact here is, after the Oakland A's play their 3-game series versus the Astros and the Diamondbacks, they played Detroit at Oakland. So Detroit Tigers do have a team. They're playing a 4-game set over there, a Thursday through Sunday set. So,
and currently only a game out of first place, sitting at 3-3. The Detroit Tigers are. They are better than the Cleveland Indians and the White Sox right now.
I believe they're tied for first place in that division, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Minnesota's 4-2.
Okay, you're right.
All
right, so
3-2.
Yeah, Kansas City gave up a huge loss today. Greg Holland really disappointed me in the 8th inning, but we digress on that. Give me your second team that is not doing so hot right now.
That would be the wonderful Miami Marlins. They're not the Florida Marlins anymore. No,
Miami. Yeah.
I'm old.
Put some respect on their name.
Are these still the Tampa Bay Devil Rays?
No, they're just the Rays.
Yeah. the Marlins are not off to the they're not off to the start that they would like. And they are not world beaters by any mean either. So they've started off their season. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rays, which the Rays are pretty good.
Yeah.
The Rays probably could go to the World Series out of the AL this year, and then they got swept by the Cardinals.
Right. Not very good Cardinals team.
Yeah, a not very good Cardinals team. Which, if you got swept by a not very good Cardinals team and you're 1-6, that means you're pretty much terrible.
Yeah. And their record does not get any easier because they do travel to New York for a 3-game set versus the Mets, and then they travel to Atlanta for a 4-game set versus the Braves. So 2 teams at top in that division as well. So I know it is hard to lose 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row in Major League Baseball, but I could see them losing 7 games in a row. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I could absolutely see that. It's a young team. It's a bunch of no-name teams. I don't know. I just feel like next year the Marlins will, kind of pull like the Patriots did this year and sign every free agent available. And except the Patriots try to keep people. They'll sign every free agent available, win the World Series, and fire sale it again, because that was always their MO before.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Derek Jeter owns that team, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's the controlling owner or just a partial owner. I think there's 2 or 3 owners, and I don't know who the controlling owner is, but I don't believe it's him. So that's why I don't think that they would do that.
Okay.
Just because he's going to try to build something.
Right.
The greatest trade before that ever happened before Jeter became owner was Christian Yelich to Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was your day that they cut every big roster down, and they had like a $3 or $4 million payroll or something ridiculous. They had like 100 fans in the stands in this quadruple $1 million park. It was just ridiculous. So give me the third team that is not doing so hot.
Well, it's the other one that I think actually has a chance. Like you said, they're not terrible. They're terrible. They have a chance to break the loss record this year, and that would be the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates basically fire sailed their team. They traded Bell. They traded Jamison Talion. That was pretty much all the talent that team had.
Yeah,
they're a young team. They've got what's the kid's name? Harvey I can't think of the kid's name.
I don't know who you're
Third baseman.
talking about.
He's a third baseman. I'll tell you. Let me see. Where's his name?
Hayes.
Yes.
Ke'Bryan Hayes. Yeah, Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Ke'Bryan Hayes. That's what I was thinking of. I couldn't think of it. They've got him. He's going to probably one of the better third basemen in the league once he gets rolling. But that's literally the only thing that team has going for them right now. Thanks, Drew. Yeah, Hayes. I couldn't think of that for my life. Because he got hit. He actually got hit on the wrist the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't know if he's going to be any good right now." Right. But yeah, they've lost. They got swept by the Reds.
A good red team, a team that's hot, a team that's going to the World Series per Stacy.
They lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs couldn't even sweep the Pirates. How good can the Cubs really be? And upcoming, they've got the Cubs again, and then the Padres. So it does not get any easier for them. The only good thing is that they get the Cubs at home, and the Padres at home. So they got a 6-game stand coming up. Are they going to? Probably not. They're probably not going to do anything. I would say that they lose 5 out of those 6 games.
So you think the Pirates are still going to be ice cold after this week stretch, huh?
Absolutely. I'll be shocked if they win 50 games this year.
Wow, that is a bold statement. As Drew says, he is very sad about his Pirates going this year, and Stacey says thank you that the Reds are going to the World Series. I don't think the Reds are going to go to the World Series, Stacey. I hate the pressure bubble.
Stacey, I'm all about placing wagers. I could probably place a wager on that one too.
Let's place a wager. Do you think the Reds make the playoffs?
No, absolutely not.
So the Major League Baseball playoffs are back to the normal thing. They aren't basically allowing everybody in. You know, like you have to win the division, and then there's a wild card. So in theory, they have to be second place and probably in their division. I think the Brewers are going to win that division. The Cubs coming in second, and then probably the Cardinals. So they have a lot of room to make up. And Stacey says, let's place a wager.
Stacey, if they make the playoffs, I will get a Cincinnati Reds tattoo.
Wow, where? On your arm, leg, thigh?
Oh no, I get to pick where it's placed.
Well, yeah, but like where'd you stick it at?
Probably on my buttocks.
On my buttocks.
On my buttocks.
I was running and something jumped up and bit me. All right, guys. We are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we are going to dive deeper into some NFL talk. We have Wyatt Williams join us here on hour number 2 on the Man Hour. We are going to talk the Atlanta Falcons. We are going to talk the Chicago Bears when the Chicago Bears aren't here. We have Packers fans on the show. So this should be exciting. So we got that coming up here on the Man Hour, guys. Also, Shop Talk is coming up here at the bottom of the hour as well. If you want to talk about anything at all, let us know. In the comments, we will pin the comment and we will bring it up here the last 15 minutes of the show. So Shop Talk coming up, as long as football talk coming up here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhashi here. If you guys haven't done so already, over here at youtube.com or facebook.com, hit that like button and share this with a couple friends as well. We are on facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk. And of course, you can find us on youtube.com/Man Hour. So if you guys would, hit that like button right now if you are listening to us. And if you missed any part of the show whatsoever, we do upload the clips every day, Monday through Friday. Actually, Sunday through Saturday, I upload the clips. I upload clips all day, every day over there on youtube.com/Man Hour page, or you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on the man of the hour here. Wyatt Williams is with us tonight. He has some prior obligations the first half of the show. He is here for the second half of the show, and he brings us some exciting news, and possibly, Tori, we could be having a very, very exciting guest here just in a couple minutes. So if he jumps on, he jumps on, but if not, we are not giving you guys any
no
news
clues
or who it. So
if they don't make it tonight, most likely they will be here tomorrow night. So
yeah, and it is a huge guest for you Big Ten people. We'll just leave it at that. So Big Ten people.
And
So
the
Tori, we've had a pretty good show so far. We've dove into some Major League Baseball talk. We've hit on Deshaun Watson and Tiger Woods here, but Wyatt Williams wants to hash out some more Tiger Woods stuff. He wants to bring up some more Tiger Woods talk because he thinks he can persuade me that the black box doesn't matter. He thinks he can persuade me that Tiger Woods wasn't drunk. He thinks he can persuade me that Tiger Woods was not speeding. Why?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Why? Let's go ahead and rehash this Tiger Woods thing, since you are really, really excited about this. I can see it in your face. I can feel it through the screen that you want to talk Tiger Woods.
Well, I'm not excited about the situation. I'm just.
You are excited that Tiger Woods was going 87 miles an hour downhill in a 45 mile an hour speed limit posted zone and hit a tree head on going 75 mile an hour.
I thought it was 30, wasn't it? It's a 30 mile an hour speed zone.
Per the ESPN article that I saw, it said 45 mile an hour speed limit. So I'm going off the article that I read.
That's ridiculous.
So what are your thoughts on it?
Crazy. That's wild. I mean, just I'm speechless, honestly, when I found out all this. I didn't think that there was any kind of foul play, maybe just some kind of an incident on a morning just driving, but now as we find out the police report, they say that he was going in the upper 80s on speed and 87. Took a turn, exactly. And so he pinballed and hit three separate things. It's like a curb or object. I'm not sure what it was. And he hit all of them. And still, after hitting three things, hits a tree at 75 mile an hour. Did you guys see where they said that he showed zero signs of braking and he only showed signs of accelerating?
Well,
I don't know how they test that, but they looked at his tire tracks and there was zero braking at all. He didn't brake once. He actually accelerated.
Well, so fun fact is I work for a car manufacturing. I do software and like engineering for a said car manufacturer place here in Louisville, Kentucky, and those black boxes track everything. They track from when you buckle your seatbelt, if you're accelerating, if you're braking, if you're using your blinker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they probably pulled the black box information there, Wyatt, and they knew that he never took his foot off the gas. Or that or just maybe he just passed out and the foot went down.
I don't think he was intoxicated. I'm not
saying he was, but sometimes you have a heart attack or a stroke, or something that causes you to pass out.
I
guarantee he was listening to Sammy Hagar and I Can't Drive 55.
Jesus Christ.
I actually had that song queued up, getting ready to play.
But
neither one of you are old enough to remember that song.
I play that song at least twice a week.
Really?
I only listen to old songs, man. I was riding home from school today and listening to Motley Crue, and then I turned on some AC/DC. That's all I listen to, man.
You say old, to me, that's like Beatles. Rolling Stones, The Doors, like that's old to me.
I listen to the Beatles. I don't really listen to the Rolling Stones. That's not really for me, but like the Beatles are all right. I don't mind the Beatles. I'm not a big fan of the Stones though.
I'm a couple of songs by the Stones.
Like there are a couple of good songs, but I was never really I've never been a die-hard guy for it. You know what I mean? Like I like the Beatles. I like the Beatles a lot. Motley Crue is really good. AC/DC is great. You got your Leonard Skinner is awesome.
Drew
lot
says
of
he
good
remembers when that song came out. I Can't
Yikes.
Drive 55. Way to age yourself
Great
there,
song.
Drew.
It was
I
a
believe
great-
my
great
dad was a
video on
teenager when
MTV.
that song came out.
But speaking of driving,
Like I'm not
Tiger
that old,
Woods.
not old for your dad.
Yeah. So speaking
Wyatt,
of driving
yeah.
with Tiger Woods, I was in the studio today at school, and they had the television on for that, for the sheriff to do his briefing of everything that had happened, and I was just in awe. Like I just couldn't believe it. I don't think that he was intoxicated at all, because he was on his way to play golf with Justin Herbert and Drew Brees. So I don't think that there was any kind of I don't think that there was any foul play involved. I think that he was just, most likely, in my opinion, I think he was probably running late and just flying. I'm not. I don't drive like that, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who get late and then just fly down the road.
Bottom of the screen.
No, I just speed. I'm never late. I'm never late because I do speed. But the thing is, I semi-agree with Wyatt. So there was a situation where a high school kid was in his vehicle. They were trying to run to go get lunch, get back to school, and it was a main road in a town. He was doing about 85, I believe, is what they estimated, and he hit a car and ended up killing an elderly lady. And they estimated basically he hit the car at 75 miles an hour. Could it have been careless driving like that? Absolutely, it could have.
I just don't know. Are they going to charge him with anything?
They said no ticket will be issued. They're saying no tickets will be issued.
Is it kind of just like a, hey, I think he already got enough, like both of his legs are broken? Is that kind of what it is, like a pity situation?
No, it is a celebrity status issue. Let's just be flat out honest.
Okay,
Like
well,
You and I
That's
would
true.
be standing in the courtroom in a wheel. Well, we wouldn't be standing. We'd be in a wheelchair, and they'd
Exactly.
be like, "Oh, here's what we're throwing at you."
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That
this.
is so anything above 20 mile an hour below the speed limit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is a felony
Reckless driving.
assault with a deadly weapon, isn't it, or something like that?
I don't know if it's a deadly
If you
weapon.
hit somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just reckless driving.
When I got when I got pulled over, doing 93, I was 28 over, and I think they suspended my license for 10 days. It was like a $450 fine.
Oh, here's a slap on the wrist, Tori. You can't drive for 10 days. Darn it.
Well, they said the DMV will let you know when your 10-day suspension will happen, and I never got a letter. So I'm like, okay.
Better safe than sorry, just not to drive for the next month, right? But let's go ahead and digress from that Tiger Woods thing. We hashed that out in hour number one. Wyatt wanted to get his thoughts in it, and very, very good thoughts, Wyatt. Man, I always value your opinion on a lot of these things here, but this is one of the opinions that I want to value your opinion on very much so. We have two Packers fans on the show here. They bleed the green and gold. Tori and Wyatt here, but Combs sat here and said that the Bears made an offer for Sam Darnold. It turns out that they did not. The only two other teams that made an offer for Sam Darnold was the 49ers and the Washington football team. So therefore, guys, the Chicago Bears think they have their man. They think Andy Dalton is their man moving forward.
Of course they do.
Why? I'm going to kick it to you first because you are just on here in the second half of the show. So I really want you to get your opinion in on this. What are your thoughts about the Bears not even pursuing Sam Darnold after rumors come out said they did?
Well, let me grab my confetti gun real quick. It's great. Now we have to deal with Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff. It's amazing. I love it. I love every second of it. Because I think that Sam Darnold is a really good quarterback. I know that he's got some picks that doesn't look pretty on the stat sheet, but he also had Adam Gase that was calling his plays. So I mean, it evens itself out. And he's got no offensive line. I could basically go up there and play some offensive line for him last year. So I mean, I think it's a great thing for the Packers. I think it's a great thing for the Vikings, and it's a great thing for the Lions. We get to face Andy Dalton now twice a year. All of us do. Essentially, it's like we get 3 bye weeks. We get 1 bye week that's real, and then 2 bye weeks when we play the Bears. That's about how it always is. But I mean, why would you not pursue a young quarterback who has plenty of potential, who has made great throws? I saw a video of the Jets watching Zach Wilson's. Now, I know they didn't go to his workout. They just watched it or whatever because they were at Mac Jones's, I believe. But the Jets were watching Zach Wilson's workout, his pro day workout, and watching some of the throws that he made. And they were like, wow, like that was a good throw. And then it flipped and it showed Sam Darnold making the exact same throws in a game situation, with a defense coming at him, with a cornerback guarding his wide receivers, with safeties over top, with a defensive line running in his face and linebackers covering over the middle, and with an offensive line that sucked. It's the same throws, but in an actual NFL game, Sam Darnold made every single one that Zach Wilson made. I'm not taking anything away from Zach Wilson either. I want to make that clear too. I think Zach Wilson's a great prospect. I think Zach Wilson could possibly be the best quarterback in this draft. But
Zach Wilson is Ryan Leaf 2.0.
Oh, come on now. Ryan Leaf had way more hype coming in over him. Zach Wilson kind of really, like, he was on the boards and stuff, but just kind of snuck in out of nowhere to the top. Like, he was always on the big boards, like, hey, this is a quarterback that'll be taken in the first 3 rounds. But he made some really good plays and showed some tremendous football IQ. And I know he didn't play the defenses that, say, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields did. Of course, I mean, they play the best talent at the college level in the world. I mean, it's not even close. So I get that, but if a quarterback makes a good throw, a quarterback makes a good throw. It doesn't matter what his defense is. If you could put it between 2 defenders, you could put it between 2 defenders. If you could put it over top of a defender at the perfect time and get it right in the back corner of the end zone, Zach can make those throws. And like I said, I'm not trying to take away anything from Zach. But it's just funny to me that the Jets, weren't keeping Sam Darnold when he can do the exact same things. And same with the Bears. The Bears have seen it. We've all seen the game film. Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. And I think that the Panthers came away with a really good steal out of this. They gave up a toaster, a can of cheese, and some Chef Boyardee pretty much for him to get a quarterback that was drafted just a few years ago with the 3rd overall pick, 2nd overall pick, a top 3 guy. Out of USC. So football IQ is way up there. He's still super young, got a lot to learn. He's got 2 wide receiver weapons now, and they still got that high round pick. So maybe they bring in a guy like Kyle Pitts or some more
receiving
line help.
Is one he had already.
Do what?
One of his receiving weapons that he's got in Carolina is one he had already in Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson. Yeah, and remember how great he was with Robbie? Robbie was a weapon whenever Sam was throwing to him 2 years ago. Not this year, of course, because Robbie wasn't with him this year. But 2 years ago, Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold, you can watch the film on that. They connected very well. So it's going to be nice to see them play well together, as well as DJ Moore is a really good deep threat that can hit you and burn you on the side if you're paying too much attention to Robbie Anderson. So I think the Panthers really came away with the steal.
So Wyatt, before I let Tori take over here and kind of basically regurgitate everything that you said, because you guys are both on cloud 9 right now with Andy Dalton, which I think Andy Dalton is a pretty good quarterback in the NFL, top 15, and I'm going to stick by that until the Bears do prove me wrong.
Gingers stick together.
Yeah, with that with that being said, a couple things stood out to me that you said there, Wyatt, is like why didn't the Bears go after a young quarterback and that they could have had for cheap? They had a young quarterback on the roster by the name of Mitchell Trubisky that led them to the playoffs not once but twice, but they gave up on him. They're like, no, you need to go elsewhere. Basically, why would they give up on, or like they gave up on Mitchell Trubisky to go after Sam Darnold, which was basically in a worse situation.
Where is Mitchell Trubisky right now?
I don't think he signed with anybody.
He's
the Bills.
Some wings in Buffalo.
Yeah, he's a backup in Buffalo.
That's right.
See, he is not even
Which
he's not even a starting quarterback. Sam Darnold is 10 times the quarterback that Mitch Trubisky is.
Okay, do you know who else was a starting quarterback this year that was a backup the previous year? Teddy Bridgewater. He went to he went to New Orleans, was a backup to Drew Brees, and then signed a pretty good deal to go to Carolina.
It's a totally different situation. He was coming off of injury.
Okay, but he was still a backup.
They almost just chopped his leg off.
He was still a backup though. I mean, like sometimes
he was incredible in Minnesota.
I'm not saying that. Like I think he was probably a top 10 quarterback when he was healthy his first 4 or 5 years in the NFL. But what I'm saying was, yes, I know he came off that injury, but he was a backup to Drew Brees. Sometimes being a backup humbles you and makes you work harder to get to that next level. Teddy Bridgewater led a pretty bad Carolina team to 5 or 6 wins this last season, minus Christian McCaffrey, minus Luke Kuechly because he was retired. They had a couple receivers go down as well. He did good things there, so maybe this is what Mitchell Trubisky needs, to be a backup. Just take it, just soak it in, and then maybe he can go to Dallas and do well. I don't know. Tori, what are your thoughts about the? What are your thoughts about the Bears basically spreading these rumors that weren't true about going after Sam?
I'm about to go Combs here. Frickin' Virginia McCaskey and Ryan Pace. They never do nothing right for the Chicago Bears. The Bears. Virginia. I'm coming for you, Virginia. No,
you're so mean.
Give me my deep dish pizza. So I don't blame them for not going after him. One, they need all the draft capital they can get. They're going to enter a rebuild here real soon. So why put the money into it? Let's sign a bargain basement deal like Andy Dalton and go 4-12 so we can get a top 10 pick next year. They're looking already at probably the next couple of quarterback classes. Andy Dalton obviously isn't the long-term answer there. What they're going to want is they're going to want somebody that they can get on that rookie deal, pay him cheap. So if he works out, great. We'll deal with it 5 years down the road. If he doesn't work out, we're going to Trubisky him too.
Well, first things first is obviously Andy Dalton is not the long-term answer. He's like 36 or 37 years old. He has a year, maybe a year half left in his NFL career. But with that being said, I pulled up the Chicago Bears 2021 list of opponents here. I want to ask you guys this question because you said 4-13, Tori. Why you're like they aren't going to win a game at all, and I think they'll probably go 8-9, 9-8 type of situation here.
I think they'll be a 6-7 win team.
Okay, so let's go ahead and put your theories to thought here. So they played the Detroit Lions twice. Like, obviously, do you have them losing both those games or winning both those games?
I think they split 1-1.
They split. The Lions, for whatever reason, they could be terrible. Except for like the year that they went 0-16, but they always play Chicago and Minnesota super tough.
They play Green Bay tough too, man.
No, they
okay.
don't.
So what about the Packers? Do they split, win, or lose?
They lose both.
They lose both of those.
Okay, so right now you guys are both sitting at 1 win. What about the Minnesota Vikings?
They lose both of those.
Wow, you guys have them winning one division game. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. Okay, so now you're looking at outer division opponents here. Arizona Cardinals.
Lose.
San Francisco 49ers.
Lose.
These are all home games, by the way. These games that I'm giving you right now are all home games. So, Baltimore Ravens.
Lose.
Bengals.
Easy. Win.
Oh, tie. I'm taking a tie.
Giants.
The Bengals are the king. Bengals are the king of the tie game.
They are.
Giants. I think it's an L. I think the Giants are going to be a better team than anybody even expects this year.
Now, these are all road games. Cleveland Browns.
L.
Rams.
L.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
L.
Seahawks.
L.
Bucks.
L.
Raiders.
W.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt win.
Yeah,
So
I'll give him
there's
W there.
3 wins and 1 win. Tori, you are a hater right now. Giving the Bears 1 win, like you are absolutely crazy for that. Sorry, you had them doing 2 wins. I'm sorry, because you had them beating the Lions and then the Raiders.
That was 17 games.
And a tie. And I gave him a tie.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep, 17 games right there. So why you had them going 3 and 14?
Yeah, probably.
So I have them.
I mean, in honesty, they'll probably win 6 games. I'm sure they'll get away 2 or 3 dumb wins, but
I have them sweeping the Lions, sweeping the Vikings, splitting with the Packers. Right there is 4 wins, or sorry, 5.
You're on crack.
5.
You are on
out of your
straight
mind.
crack right
You're out of your mind.
They are going to beat the 49ers at home. They're going to beat the Bengals at home. They're going to beat the Giants at home. They're going to go to Cleveland and win that game as well, and then they lose the rest of the games on the road because their road schedule is pretty brutal. Let's be honest. Right there's 9 wins.
Your take on that was pretty brutal.
Right. Did Kentucky become like the meth capital of the world? Because I'm pretty sure you're smoking it.
Actually, meth capital of the world is in Scottsburg, Indiana, which is right up the road.
It is.
From me.
It's true.
Yeah. Fun fact. So, I don't know, guys, but like this whole Bears thing, rumors sitting that they were going after Sam Darnold, and they like Dad at Combs said they even place an offer for him, and yeah, not true at all. Sorry.
No.
Moving on
Saw
to the
that on a
next
Bears
one.
fan page.
Yeah, probably.
Give old
Moving on.
Combsy a break.
Moving on to the next one here. Justin Fields is scheduled to have a second pro day April 14th. So just in 6 days here, he's going to have a second pro day. He's going to throw at that pro day. And the San Francisco 49ers are going to be at that one. They said that they had prior obligations for his first pro day, a.k.a. they were in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, watching Mac Jones throw the ball. So
Threw some
the San Francisco
Mallard
49ers
ducks.
do have the 3rd overall pick. Tori, do you see Justin Fields going to the San Francisco 49ers at all?
I could. I honestly do think that could happen. A lot of the mock drafts have Mac Jones going, which I'm not high on Mac Jones either. Him and Zach Wilson, I'm just not high on either one of them. But
He looks like Tom Brady.
God. Hate when people say that.
But his pro comparison is, man, the guy's never played an NFL snap. How are you going to compare him to a pro? You know.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Oh well,
no,
somebody
I
compared
could
Zach Wilson to Patrick Mahomes.
right. I could definitely see the Niners taking Justin Fields. How much of it do they look at though? Of well, how does he compare to Dwayne Haskins? Is that going to scare some teams off from even a couple of years ago? Dwayne Haskins obviously has some maturity issues. Their big question is going to be like, are those same questions going to pop up with Justin? I don't think you quite have the questions with Justin.
No,
I think hands down, he could definitely go with that 3rd overall pick. Yeah. And then which we'll talk about probably here in a little bit, is that number 4 pick all of a sudden becomes a wild card pick. And either the phone lights up and starts ringing, or they make a pick there. But I digress with it. Yeah, I absolutely. Justin Fields, I think, is probably the 2nd best quarterback in this draft.
Is he NFL ready coming out of the gate, or does he need to sit for like a little while?
I think it would benefit him to sit. It would benefit him to sit a year, maybe 2. But if he gets thrown into the fire, he's got enough mobility. He can make plays happen. They're not always going to end well, but he can make plays happen. He showed it when he was at Georgia. He showed it when he was at Ohio State.
Right. So Wyatt, you are our draft guru. We need to actually do your mock draft 3.0 coming up here very, very soon, as the draft
Let's do it Monday.
Just 2 weeks away, right? It's April 28th, or sorry, 21 days away, so 3 weeks away. With that being said, does Justin Fields go 3rd overall?
I'm not 100% sure. I know that at that first pick, everybody knows it's Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there's any question about that. We all know that. And I would go as far to say that we could possibly even see Justin Fields go 2nd overall. Is that going to happen? Likely not. I don't think so. I think Zach Wilson is a lock for the Jets. I think they're going with Zach Wilson. I think that's a done deal. But I still think there's that chance that Justin Fields goes there at that second pick. If he doesn't go there, that third pick is really, what's the word? It's really just, I guess, just weird. Like, you know, you see Justin Fields is going for that second workout now, and the Niners are going to be at that one, but they weren't at the first one because they were watching Mac Jones. So what that tells me is their questions on Mac Jones weren't answered, and they're going to come watch Justin Fields. Because if their questions for Mac Jones were answered, they would have no reason to go watch Justin Fields play. It's fine. You know, we'll take Mac Jones. We know he's going to be there. That is that. It's just that simple. So I think that we saw that, you know, Justin Fields' pro day was incredible. It was one of the best quarterback workouts that I've seen in a long time. I mean, it was impressive. He stumbled and still ran a 4.44. He stumbled, he tripped and still ran that. That's incredible for a quarterback. And he's not a, you know, mobile first quarterback. He can still sit back and be that pocket passer that you need him to be. He's got an incredible arm. I think that he showed a couple of cracks in his game against Indiana was primarily where I saw them, but I think any of those can be fixed once you get him in an NFL QB room. I think Justin Fields is a heck of a player. I think he's a heck of a talent. And like I said, I think that the third pick, it will all depend how Justin's workout goes before I make my final decision on who goes at 3. I know who's 1. I know who's 2. But that third pick, it's wide open right now because, like I said, if it was Mac Jones and they were set and ready, they wouldn't even give a second thought. There is no reason why they would need to go to watch Justin Fields play. They've got their answer. They've got their guy. They've got their QB there at the third pick. You know, Mac Jones is the one that'll be there at that third pick. The question is, will Justin Fields be there at the third pick? He could go at that second pick to the Jets. Who knows? You know, so it's a really deceiving take on that one. You know, it's tough to speculate until we see Justin Fields get out there and throw again. Here's the deal. If Justin Fields gets out there and throws like he did in the first pro day, there is not a doubt in my mind why he doesn't deserve to go at the 2 spot and the 3 spot at worst. I think Zach Wilson's a heck of a talent. I think Zach Wilson, most likely in my book, will end up being the best quarterback out of this draft, or one of the top quarterbacks out of the draft, of course.
Say that again.
I think he'll be the best, or at least top 2.
Put the name on it.
Zach Wilson. Well, I think Zach Wilson's the top 2 quarterback in this draft.
Okay.
It will all depend on where he lands.
I will tell you why he's a bust. He has nothing to fear. If he fails, he's still going to be rich because guess what? Daddy owns JetBlue. I don't think he has the fire to be a good quarterback.
That has been the biggest knock, is that he is, quote, a rich boy and he doesn't have to work hard because he doesn't have to succeed.
Absolutely. There's no fire and there's no passion there for him. If he fails, there's literally there's no repercussion if he's not, you know, doesn't live up to it. Well, screw it. I'm just not going to work as hard. That doesn't mean he's not
passionate for the game still. I mean, you know, just because his daddy makes millions of dollars doesn't mean that he's not passionate for the game. I mean, if that was the case, then any NFL quarterback shouldn't be, Patrick Mahomes shouldn't be passionate for the game anymore because he got $500 million.
You do see guys that do that get that contract and then completely lose that fire and they ride out that contract. Or, you know, back in the day in the NBA, Tim Thomas played for the Bucks. The guy never played good unless it was a contract year. And all of a sudden, like, oh, it's a contract. Your dude's putting up 20 points a game. He signed a free agent deal with the Phoenix Suns, did terrible. Contract year, he's putting up 20 plus. Like, he turned it on when he wanted to. And that's my fear with him, is that he just turns it on whenever he feels like. And if he doesn't have to, he's not going to. And I will say that would be a legitimate fear if you're looking at him.
So why? Just to add to your point there, before I let you speak, there is a difference between earning your money and then having somebody else's money. So like when you earn your cash, you have that sense of pride that, hey, this is mine. But like when your parents are rich and they own a JetBlue, you kind of feel a sense of like this is half mine, even though it's like it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, so I could see where somebody would think that, but at the end of the day, you can see the passion in his game. You can watch the film and see how good this kid is. I mean, his awareness is off the charts. He steps up in the pocket better than any quarterback in this draft. I mean, it's uncanny. He knows when that pocket is closing. He knows when to go. He can throw off balance incredibly accurately, like, you know, our guy, Aaron Rodgers. I don't mean to bring up the Packers, so drink, everybody. But you know, he throws off balance, and it's awesome to see. He does a great job of it. His football IQ is ridiculous. He makes smart plays. I mean, you can watch any of his games and see, you know, he knows when to throw the football and how, like, exactly where to put it away from a defender and all that stuff. This is the type of stuff that a NFL quarterback needs to know. You know, you see him jogging the sideline and darting something like sidearm right to the wide receiver down the sideline. I mean, the guy's arm is awesome as well. You know, I don't like the quarterback comparisons, but a lot of people are comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, and I do in a way see the comparison. Now, I don't want to just say the greatness is going to be there and all that stuff, because that's unfair to throw somebody in that situation.
So why? Hang on,
style,
pause. Did you see Patrick Mahomes in college?
Yes, I watched.
Wasn't very good. He was not good in college. He was not. He
played on a high profile offense.
He had a losing record in college.
Him
too.
and Baker Mayfield had a game where they both combined for like 1,100 yards.
Okay, congratulations. You threw for a lot, but you still had a losing record in college. How many bowl games did Patrick Mahomes win in college?
I'm not sure, but he also
0.
didn't have well, okay, put him on Oklahoma's team, and I guarantee he'd have won a natty.
Okay, there's a reason why he didn't.
Playing that what if game though that you can't play. We got to deal with what the facts are of the situation.
And he did. He still was a good quarterback. He went 10th overall in the draft. There was clearly something there.
I'm not saying he is bad by any means, but if you want to compare college film to XYZ, Patrick Mahomes' college film really wasn't that great, to be honest. And let's be honest, you are a draft guy, Wyatt. We are always prisoner of the moment. We feel like we have to draft QBs high. So, like, you know, when you think you need a quarterback, you want to jump up to that 10th overall pick and draft a guy, i.e. the Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky. They had their guy, and he's like, oh, they're not going to fall, so they jumped up to get a quarterback. I mean, that's just the way it is.
You know who else made all the throws? Jamarcus Russell. How long he lasted in the league?
Oh my God! That is
the true story.
Who else made all the throws? Tim Couch. How long did he last in the league?
How about Vince Young?
Ryan Leaf. Vince Young.
Throw out Ryan Leaf. Throw out the biggest 3 busts in draft history, pretty much at the quarterback position.
We just gave you 5.
He said Tim Couch, Ryan Leaf, and Jamarcus Russell.
Vince Young.
Okay, that's 4.
How about this? Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow wasn't out there with his arms didn't impress everybody. It was his athletic ability and his able to move the ball.
Is he in the NFL still? Run. Did he last more than five years in the NFL?
No, but okay. Tim Tebow's a totally different situation from Zach. It's not even similar.
You're right. You want to know who also made all the throws in college?
Who?
Michael Bishop, 1999 Heisman runner-up for the Kansas State Wildcats. Where is he?
Okay, here we go. I'll play this same game. Let's see who all made these throws in college. Okay, let's see here. We got Aaron Rodgers made these throws in college. You know, at Cal.
Where did Aaron Rodgers start out?
Huh?
Where did Aaron Rodgers start out? It wasn't at Cal.
No, it was a community college out there in Chico.
Yeah, but also, where was he drafted? Because to me, a draft bust is somebody that was drafted in like the top 10.
Then Baker Mayfield made all the throws. He's not a draft bust. He's been decent. He's been good.
Not yet.
What do you mean not yet? He's turned the Browns around. They made the playoffs this year.
Okay, first of all, he did not single-handedly turn the Browns around. The Browns' 15 number 1 overall draft picks over the last 8 years turned the Browns around. Let's be honest there.
Well, I mean, when you're picking inside the top 5 every year.
Fair point on that one. I will give you that. But I'm telling you guys right now, Zach Wilson is a great quarterback. He is going to be something special in the league. I promise.
4-7, 9:46 p.m.
Put it on there. I promise. He's a top 2 quarterback right now in this draft. And the reason why I say top 2
to be terrible.
I promise he won't. What quarterbacks do you think are better than him in this draft?
Trey Lance. I think honestly Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence will come out of this draft probably as the 2 best quarterbacks.
And Tori, and I think you are overlooking the obvious choice here, a guy that is going to fall deep late into the first round, fall into the New England Patriots' hands, Kyle Trask from
Trask, like dog trash. It is pro day.
I don't care. I don't care how you throw a ball versus nobody. I don't care.
I do. If you suck at throwing a ball to a wide receiver and there's not even a defender there, you suck.
Fun fact here, Wyatt. I was the worst college football player on the practice field ever. I did not give 100% effort. I could care less if I popped you in your mouth or not. I gave 0 effort on the practice field. Lights turned on. Eye black went under my eyes. My visor was my visor was on. I turned into Buck Nasty. Nobody was coming over the middle. I was popping you in your mouth. I didn't care if you saw your mama the next day. Like, I was out there to kill you. Practice? Hey man, you are my friend. I don't care. Yeah, we're talking about practice. We are talking about pro days. We are talking about you making me throw 50 scripted plays that I could care less about because I know I'm going to the Patriots anyways in the late first round. Who cares? I can't move up. Yeah.
Kyle Trask, I don't think will go in the late first round. You know a quarterback, seriously, okay? A quarterback that's slipping everybody's eyes that will be, I think will be really good, and I think is
Kyle
possibly
Trask.
the Dak Prescott of this draft. Kellen Mond of Texas A&M.
I can definitely see that. Yeah,
Kellen Mond has an arm, dude. Football IQ is there. He is really good out of the play
action. All the throws?
Do what?
Does he make all the throws?
He does make all the throws. So the throws are there. He's a good locker room presence. All of his teammates praise him for how great of a leader he is. So the leadership capabilities are there. He's really good out of the play action. Can run it really good out of the shotgun.
Where's he
as
from
well.
again?
So,
Texas A&M. Okay.
Texas A&M.
So College Station, Texas. You know what else is around College Station, Texas?
What's around College Station?
The movie Varsity Blues. That quarterback there was praised in the locker room very, very highly because
my god.
I'm just playing, but I do like that kid from Texas A&M. He is pretty good.
I do.
Yeah.
He could sneak into the first round. If
he
not,
really could.
He's going to be he'll be a early second round pick that I think a team may trade up in the second round for if he falls.
Like a Drew Lock, honestly, kind of like that player that fell down a little bit. Now I'm not comparing him to Drew Lock.
I was thinking it was the Broncos that were going to trade up for him.
Well, they did it for Drew.
Right.
But yeah, no, and a lot of NFL scouts watched his pro day and were very impressed with what they saw from Kellen Mond, because the kid's got an arm. He really does. We could pull up. I mean, we don't have it right now on cue, but next time that we talk about it, when we do the mock draft, I'll have us pull it up and show some of the highlights and stuff. This kid has a really good arm.
If you are looking at quarterbacks for next year, look no further than that Texas quarterback, Sam Ehlinger, I think his name.
He's in the draft this year.
Yeah, I meant as far as a third and fourth round pick, that's going to be a Dak Prescott-esque type quarterback. I think Sam Ehlinger makes a team better instantly when he gets on that team.
I think Sam Ehlinger turns out like Will Grier. Y'all remember Will Grier out of West Virginia?
West Virginia.
Good college quarterback, had some hype about him, goes to an NFL team. Everybody's like, oh, he could possibly work his way up the depth chart. And I've never heard Will Grier's name since. He disappeared.
He was with Carolina.
Yeah.
And
Carolina
I don't know if he's still with them or not.
He'll be like,
when Kyle Allen beat him out on the depth chart, that's probably a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and skip our last break and get into some shop talk here. I pinned some comments here, and let's go ahead and bring them up here on the screen. We got about 5 minutes left in the show here. So Drew says Mac Jones' stats can be considered deceiving due to his talent and weapons around him that he had.
Absolutely.
I do agree. I agree with that. Like stats always lie. Like you always have to test your eyes. Like at the
You want to talk about a Jamarcus Russell? I think Mac Jones is the Jamarcus Russell of this group.
Oh.
The dude had like 3 DUIs in high school, man.
Did he? Mac
Yes,
Jones?
he makes terrible decisions.
Yeah, that's I'm not high on Mac Jones and never have been high on Mac Jones. Again, the yak for like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle has inflated his stats incredibly.
Well, I mean, think about the weapons he's thrown to the arguably the 2 best receivers in this draft class. I mean, you know, of course, Jamar Chase is awesome. Yeah, he's thrown to a Heisman winner, and like I said, 2 guys you could literally, you know, are if not the 2 best, top 3 for sure in Waddle. And Devonta Smith, 2 incredible weapons. He's had a great offensive line. He's got Nick Saban at the helm, so a good defense backing him up. I mean, he is set.
Yeah.
Why Stacey got jokes?
We will get to that comment. Relax. We're coming to you, Stacy. So Drew says, this is talking about the BYU quarterback here.
Exactly. Yes,
he
Drew.
says, don't you think he might want to get out from his daddy's wings and earn it him himself?
Kid's got the passion. Yes.
There's a
Sometimes
difference
though.
between passion and fire, though.
Look,
Yeah.
right here.
Big difference.
Right here. This is a good one, too. This is kind of a follow-up. Daddy might have gotten him the opportunity, but it takes him doing the job to get the job done.
Right.
He has got the passion. He's going to get the job done.
So
Tell me.
why you and
Daddy's
me
money
are
didn't get him to BYU.
you and me are in the same area, right? I mean, we are around a bunch of well-off kids in our in our life. I see it firsthand. Yes, their parents' money get them these opportunities to go to a Division I college.
Do you want to name a kid?
And no, I don't. But their parents' money gets them an opportunity to go to all these camps and be the top ranked such and such at like a position. But he sucks. He flat out sucks. But it is what it is. So I don't know. But you are right.
Exactly
There's
who you're talking to. I know exactly who you're talking about.
we can talk about that.
It
on
was
the after
Lori
show.
Loughlin, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Paying off
It was Blake Zender, wasn't it?
Blake
You can't
Zender
name-
should be. So this is
name
between
drop, man.
all of us here on the Man Hour. Blake Zender is probably the best hearted athlete kid in this area, and he should definitely be playing at the college level somewhere, somehow, some way. But
I've tried.
people did not help him out, and I did not have the opportunity to help him out like I wanted to. So
When
we're
you
gonna
say
leave
people, who are you talking about?
I'm not gonna name drop. But you know exactly who I'm talking about here.
Yep.
So before we head out here, guys, and man, I am so never getting a coaching job here in Indiana again. And like am I again? So Stacy says we need Pappy to say coffee and water. Have you all listened to his accent? So we're going to go ahead and turn down the music. Mr. Waffles himself,
Oh God.
say coffee.
You said waffles, not Poppy.
I meant Mr. Waffles is you because you're
I'm going to
Get
say it's so seductive just for you.
okay.
Coffee,
Okay.
water.
All right. Now say it in your real voice.
Coffee?
We don't care how it sounds there, Tori. This is the Man Hour. We don't care about coffee or water. It's all about Monster Energy drinks and Wyatt Heat coffee, right? We don't care about hot coffee. We want Wyatt Heat coffee. Wyatt,
Kids
send us
Heat,
out.
baby.
Kids
Man
Heat.
Hour
Wyatt.
Nations. Rise up.
Yes, sir. Have a great night, guys. And right now, guys, over on manhourradio.com, we are starting the after show. So if you are a member, head over to manhourradio.com, click on the members only tab and click on the after show, or you can check your email as well. I did send the link out there. So if you are a member, head over to the after show and join us, and we'll be there right now.